Hello, welcome to Pop Nick's Music. I am, as always, your host, Pop Nick Lewis. And this week, we're smack dab in the middle of my 3 week focus on actors that I like. Last week, the emphasis was conventional choices. These are the kinds of names that you would expect to see on somebody's, 10 best actor lists. This week, though, we're going with unconventional choices. These are the ones that these are actors that you know. You're familiar with these actors, and many of them are going to be actors that you think are it's a decent actor. You're just not necessarily going to expect to see them cropping up in a list like this. And there are a couple of these that, frankly, are going to be. You sure about that? They're all well known. Some have even been nominated for or maybe even won Oscars. So it's not like I'm pulling, complete dark horses in here. It's just that the main thing you want to take away from this is that these are the actors that if I see them build in a movie, their presence alone is going to make me want to go see the movie. Okay? Okay. Before we get into this, though, we're talking about favorites, so we have to do the subjectivity notice. We firmly believe here at Pop Nick's Music that there is no such thing as objectively good or objectively bad art. There's only art that we like and art that we do not. We firmly believe that the aesthetic experience is, by definition, by its very nature, subjective. So I am not making objective claims here. I don't think they can be made, so obviously I'm not doing that. If you disagree with any of my choices, if you want to take me to task or rake me over the coals for these choices, if you want to agree with them, it doesn't have to be negative, then that's fantastic. Drop that comment down below. I always love having this conversation. It's just I would appreciate it if we could avoid using an objective framework when we're having that discussion. Okay? Thanks. Now, with that nonsense out of the way, one last reminder. Here at Pop Nick's Music, we do not use actor as a gendered noun. As far as I'm concerned, if your art is inhabiting other people's lives, creating characters that you can portray, then you are an actor. I don't care what your gender is. We do not distinguish between actors and actresses here at Pop Nick's Music. We just use the one word to refer to everybody. Okay, now with all of that groundwork stuff out of the way, let's get on to the top 10. Coming in at number 10. Okay, I just went through all this effort to say, these are going to be people that you know and people that you like and blah, blah, blah. I talk a lot about this sort of stuff with friends, right? It's one of the reasons why I do it here on this YouTube channel, because this kind of shit that I preoccupy myself with even in my regular life. So I am accustomed to catching flack from people because I actually like this actor. When you start talking about who's a good actor, who's a bad actor with folks, this name usually crops up on the bad actor list, and I've never understood why. Because I've always enjoyed watching my number 10 actor, Ben Affleck. I like watching Ben Affleck act. I particularly am a fan of his performances in The Town and The Accountant. And hot take number 2, he is my favorite Batman of all of the Batmen. He's also one of the Oscar winners on my list. He won the best screenplay for Good Will Hunting, and best picture for Argo. So, and The Town, a very well-made movie. He directed that as well as starred in it. So, number 10 on my list of favorite actors that are unconventional choices, Ben Affleck. My number 9 actor is an actor that I liked him the first time I saw him. The first time I saw him was when he appeared as Captain Dallas in Alien. Yes, we are talking about Tom Skerritt. And I like Tom Skerritt. In every role I've seen him in, I like him. He won an Emmy and a Golden Globe and or he won an Emmy and got nominations for Golden Globes and SAG awards for his role on Picket Fences, a TV show that I really enjoyed watching when it was on, whenever the hell that was. But I like Tom Skerritt. He's got a nice delivery. He's got a nice demeanor. I enjoy watching Tom Skerritt work. So my number 9, Tom Skerritt. Okay, coming in at number 8. Take a quick break. Like last week, it's an early record, so I usually wait until at least noon to break out the beer. At number 8 is an actor that I've always been a huge fan of. Going back to when I was a little kid, I really liked this guy. I have seen him in several things on TV shows and stuff like that when I was younger. The first time that he gained any sort of prominence, though, was when he was one of the lead performers on National Lampoon's Animal House. And my number 8 is Tim Matheson. I love Tim Matheson. I loved him in Animal House. He got Emmy nominations for his work as Vice President John Hoynes on The West Wing, and I thought he did a wonderful job with that. If I'm going to point to how effective I think he can be as an actor, though, I would point to his recurring role on the television series Burn Notice, where he plays a psychopathic former CIA operative turned assassin, and he is just wonderful in that. He pivots so quickly from affability to, I mean, demonic evil. I mean, just like makes that turn on a dime, and it's just impressive to watch. My number 8 favorite actor and the unconventional choices, Tim Matheson. My number 7 actor, I talked a lot last week about the movie Victor Victoria, and I thought that I had 2 actors in my top 10 last week who were both in that movie, one of whom got an Oscar nomination for her role, Julie Andrews. One who did not get an Oscar nomination for his role, James Garner. And I said at that time that I thought James Garner was robbed because he should have gotten the nomination for Best Actor, I thought. And I mentioned at that point that there were multiple actor nominations. Well, my number 7 is the other nomination. Robert Preston was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in that movie. And oh my God, he should have won because that was a fantastic performance. I love Robert Preston in Victor Victoria. I love Robert Preston in general. I loved him in Music Man. I mean, come on. I can't stand musicals. So if we've got a musical that I will watch repeatedly, oh, that's saying something. And Robert Preston is the Music Man as far as I'm concerned. I would also suggest, if you want to see why I like Robert Preston as much as I do, give another Blake Edwards movie a watch sometime, and that is S.O.B. Oh my God, is that a great movie. But my number 7 actor, Robert Preston. My number 6 actor also got some Academy Award nominations. She was nominated for Paper Moon and for Blazing Saddles, and that is Madeline Kahn. I love Madeline Kahn. She has wonderful comic timing. I mean, to the millisecond, spot on comic timing. She's also a fantastic singer. Love Madeline Kahn. And if you want to know why I love Madeline Kahn, yeah, watch Blazing Saddles, but even more importantly, watch Young Frankenstein, because, oh my God, is she good in Young Frankenstein. My number 6 favorite actor, who's an unconventional choice, Madeline Kahn. My number 5. Okay. I was just talking, up there at number 10 about about Ben Affleck. Okay, we've got the same kind of situation here. This is an actor who started out being relatively well thought of, but who has become something of a caricature from most people's perspective. The people that I talk with, when I say most people. When we're talking about actors that we like, actors that we dislike, this guy is always on the dislike side. He is like the poster child for crap actors. For you know, all he does is he shows up on the screen, and I've never understood it because I watch him in a variety of different types of roles, and he is always, to me, convincing. I never see the actor. I always see the role that he's playing. And that is my number five unconventional choice for my favorite actors, Tom Cruise. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. He was nominated for three acting performances for Oscars. Born on the 4th of July, Jerry Maguire, leading actor for both of those, supporting actor for Magnolia. He was nominated for an Oscar as a producer for Top Gun Maverick. But those aren't the movies that I would point to. If I'm going to try to express to you why I like Tom Cruise, I would point to four of his genre movies. He's been cranking out these action adventure, sci-fi thrillers for the last 30 years or so. Think Mission Impossible, right? He's been cranking that kind of stuff out, where one of the main things that people will say is, "Ooh, he's doing all his own stunts," and you got that kind of nonsense going on. But I would point to four movies, and they're all fairly well-known movies. In 2005, he released War of the Worlds. In 2010, he released Night and Day. In 2013, he released Oblivion. And in 2014, he released Edge of Tomorrow. And in these four movies, he is playing four very distinctly different characters. War of the Worlds, he is the hapless father, trying his best to survive and protect his kids. Night and Day, he is super suave agent, Mission Impossible, one step ahead of the bad guy all the way through. Oblivion, he is a wrestling with repressed memories, trying to determine why he seems to feel certain ways that don't make sense given the circumstance of his life. Edge of Tomorrow, he is a man who is not a soldier, who is caught in an endless loop, repeating a battle that he's lived through. Extremely different characters as we go through, and he carries all four of them off. I mean, fantastic. If I had to narrow it, I would say Oblivion and Edge of Tomorrow. Either one of those, they're two, I think, of the best movies I've seen in the last 30 years. I love both of those movies, and a large part of the reason why I love those movies is Tom Cruise's performance. So yeah, my number five favorite actor who is an unconventional choice is Tom Cruise. Okay, number four. I've always really liked Mary Steenburgen. I have seen her in, probably a dozen different movies and TV shows, that sort of stuff. And she never disappoints. I'm always, my eyes are drawn to her whenever she's on screen. I love Mary Steenburgen. She was nominated for an Oscar for Melvin and Howard. But if I'm going to pick out stuff that I think you should watch, it would be a couple of movies that she made in the 80s. One is Dead of Winter, and the other is Time After Time. Both wonderful movies. Strongly recommend, and largely because they both feature Mary Steenburgen, my number four favorite actor. Okay, my number three favorite actor. Okay, we're getting up into like Holy Trinity territory now. I like everybody up to this point, but from this point on, I'm willing to fight with you if if you want to tell me that these shouldn't be on my list. Okay, at number three, I've got one of my all-time favorite comic actors, and that is Cloris Leachman. Oh Jesus, I don't think there's anything Cloris Leachman has ever done that I've seen her in that I didn't think was superlative. My note in my spreadsheet here, I've got a column for the projects that I want to point out, and I've got the same comment for all three of these, my top three, and that's everything. Everything I've ever, I can't think of a single thing I've ever seen Cloris Leachman do that I wouldn't say, oh, that was fantastic. I can think of things that I'm not a huge fan of. I was never a big fan of her spin-off from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Phyllis. But she was fantastic in it. It's just, the character I wasn't as fond of, compared to the rest of the characters on that show. Nothing about Cloris Leachman. Cloris Leachman is fantastic. If I had to pick out something, I'd probably go back to Young Frankenstein because Frau Blucher is just, oh my God, amazing. But anyway, throw a dart and it's going to be fantastic. I love Cloris Leachman. Cloris Leachman, who won an Oscar for her role in The Last Picture Show. Don't think I mentioned that earlier. My number two. My number two favorite actor who's on the unconventional choice, who's something of an unconventional choice, is somebody who has been floating around. As I started doing this, it used to be I thought of actors that I liked that nobody else didn't really, that nobody else really knew. They weren't really familiar with them. But I always loved them, and I knew as soon as I saw that person crop up, this was going to be a good thing. And then he started getting relatively well known over the past few years. So, he hasn't quite gotten so well known that he belongs on the conventional choice list. Give it another 10 years, he'll probably be there. I have thought for years, though, that he's one of the best actors I've ever seen. And that is my number two choice. Nominated for an Oscar for Being the Ricardos, won an Oscar for Whiplash, J.K. Simmons. Oh my God, do I love J.K. Simmons. He is brilliant in the TV show The Closer, is one of my favorite TV shows. He's brilliant as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man movies. Oh my God, he's good in that. He's good in everything I've ever seen him do. I'm a huge fan of J.K. Simmons, and as soon as I see him in the credits, okay, I know that this is going to be a quality movie because there's somebody working. The casting director is competent enough to be casting J.K. Simmons, so that in and of itself means there's a good chance I'm going to like this movie. My number two favorite actor, J.K. Simmons. At number one, my favorite actor. Okay, so I was just talking about Tim Matheson further up on the list, and I was talking about how I've liked him. I've liked Tim Matheson since I was a kid. I saw him in background roles and stuff like that in TV shows and stuff, that sort of thing, and always liked him. I can say the same kind of thing about this guy. I first became aware of him when I was a little kid because he was a little older than I am, but he starred in movies as a child actor. And the movies that he made were aimed at my demographic, and I was just the right age to watch them. So I watched the Disney movies that he made, the Dexter Riley movies that he made. Yes, we are talking about Kurt Russell. I love Kurt Russell. When I was a kid, I loved watching those Dexter Riley movies. As I grew up, I loved seeing him cropping up in TV shows and stuff like that. He and Tim Matheson actually starred in a series together, a Western series. Name of it has slipped my mind at the moment. There's a crawl down below with the name of it. It lasted less than a season, and I never saw a single episode of it. It was on a channel that I didn't have access to, or it was on a night where I worked or something. I don't remember what the problem was. But it was something that I wanted to see and was never able to see it, and it didn't last long enough for me to be able to catch it. But I mean, it had Kurt Russell and Tim Matheson both in it. I mean, come on, these are two of my favorite actors. And as I have aged, as I have matured, and as I have watched many more things, I've just seen Kurt Russell again and again step up to the plate and knock it out of the park. And yeah, I'm deliberately using a baseball metaphor there because he tried to be a pro baseball player in his youth. I was talking last week when I was extolling James Garner's virtues that he could play a wide breadth of characters. He could be, what I said last week, he could be the guy who is afraid of getting his ass kicked, and he can be the guy who will kick your ass if you're not careful, right? Kurt Russell, same thing. Kurt Russell plays the guy who's afraid of getting his ass kicked, breakdown, executive decision. The guy who is an ass kicker, escaped from New York, for crying out loud. Soldier, jeez, Stargate, right? I mean, the the it's not just that he's playing different character types, he's playing completely different people. I mean, like body type and everything. You put his performance in Soldier up against his performance in Breakdown, and that's the same guy. And it's amazing to me that he's been able to do that. And he continues to do it. Bone Tomahawk was one of the most disturbing movies I've seen in years, and he was wonderful in that. I mean, geez, I have never seen Kurt Russell turn in a subpar performance. I've seen him play underwritten stuff, and I've seen him in projects that I'm kind of iffy on. His appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, for example. Overall, didn't care much for that movie, but man, Kurt Russell did his job. He fulfilled his brief. He always does. And he is my number one favorite actor among the unconventional choices. And those are my 10 favorite, somewhat unconventional actors. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Drop that comment down below. I always love hearing from you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate it if you'd click the like button down below. And while you're down there clicking, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to me, so I very much appreciate it. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, and I hope that the rest of your day is delightful. See you soon.